Hey guys, it's Katie with scrappingkatie.ctmh.com, and I have a fun Cricut tutorial to share with you using a card that I made for the Heart to Heart challenges, and it's a color challenge for green. I decided to make a St. Patrick's Day card of sorts. It's probably going to go to my husband, but I'm going to show you how to do the Lucky Me sentiment on the base of the card. So here's a look at the card. And then I am just going to pull out my tablet and kind of show you how it's done. All of these images are from the Flower Market Cricut cartridge from Close to My Heart. I will link it down below. And to pull up the Lucky, all I did was do a search for my images, and then I'm going to insert just the sentiment and show you how to get the words on that background. So I'm going to ungroup the image, and that will allow me to delete that background as well as contour this sentiment so all that's left are the letters. And then once I have that done, I can resize that. I'm going to drag that up to a basic shape that I inserted and size to a standard size card, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And that way it allows me to play with the spacing and the sizing of that sentiment. And I'm going to duplicate it 3 times so I can get 4 sentiments stacked on top of each other. So once those are duplicated, I'm going to drag those back up to that card front and play with spacing. It does not have to be perfect. In fact, mine's probably a little bit off, but from a glance, you can't really tell. And so once I'm kind of sure that there's an even border to the left, the right, the top, and the bottom, I can kind of play with that basic shape back there and get it exactly the way I want it, just to make sure those are sized right. And then I'm going to drag my finger to collect all of those Lucky Me's, and then I'm going to group those together. And this allows them to be one image now. I could resize them if I wanted, whatever the case may be. So in order to get the look that I want, I'm going to drag that basic shape back up there and group it with the Lucky Me's. And then I'm going to hit attach. And what this is going to do is that is going to now make that basically a group. I could resize it, I could change it, whatever. But those Lucky Me's are now going to cut out of that card base. And again, that Flower Market's just to let you know what cartridge I'm using. And so now I'm going to start cutting. So in previous videos, I've showed you how to combine smaller images. So that little heart that's going to be the rainbow, I'm going to move that object to that first mat with the 4-leaf clover on there, and then drag that heart to the opposite corner, which will make it easy for me to cut. And then I'm going to lay those images out on my Cricut mat. But before I do that, I want to mirror this Lucky Me. And this is how this process works. It has to be mirrored in order to work for what I'm about to show you. So on this one mat, I've got the 4-leaf clover piece and the striped for the heart, and then this base. So I'm going to send that to my cutter and then kind of show you this is where the magic happens. So as you can see, Lucky Me cut. I have not pulled anything off except that little edge of the card front that cut off. And what you're going to do is take your favorite adhesive, and of course my adhesive ran out, so I'm going to change that off camera right quick. Take your favorite adhesive and apply all over this card front, making sure that you apply it pretty generously to those letters. And so I'm just going to go through there, make sure that I've got a pretty steady stream of adhesive, and then take my card base and apply it directly on top of this rectangle. In order for the Lucky Me to be correct, I'm going to use the bottom portion of the card front, and I'm just going to line that up. Again, that card front is sized to a standard size card, and press down really well. Again, this is why you apply adhesive everywhere. And then I'm going to take my Cricut scraper and kind of lift up that panel. And then as soon as I've got some corners lifted up, I can peel the rest off from the Cricut mat like that. And then everything adhered to that card front. So you don't have to do the letter separately and then go through the trouble of putting those one by one back onto the card front. And that is how that works. It's really simple. You could use this method for anything. Again, if you wanted a different look, you could do it, but I just love the way that it looks like it's all one piece, but you can tell that those cuts add a little bit of dimension. I hope that you learned something today. If you did, please consider subscribing to my channel, as well as maybe sharing it and signing up for notifications.